Hey guys, it is Jeremy again. Welcome back to Books and Coffee. And no coffee this evening because it's too late for me to drink it. It's currently 7 in the evening and I'm here to do a bit of a unplanned discussion video. With the release of The Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare looming very quickly, it comes out in just a few weeks.
On the 4th of December, I have a very exciting video for me to film. This is something I've been feeling about for years, ever since I read City of Glass by Cassandra Clare, and I'm wondering if I'm the only one who feels this way. I loved and kind of obsessed over the original first 3 books to the Mortal Instruments. I loved the characters, loved the world, everything was tied up really well with glass, hence why City of Glass, having read all 6 books, is still my favorite of the series. And when talking about the series, I always try to get people to read the first 3, and if they love the series like an insane amount, then I recommend the rest. But, excuse the background noise, my sister is currently talking and stuff, so. Then there is the last 3. Sorry, I have to lean over there. But basically the main question I want to ask is, were these 3 books necessary for the series? I'm going to give a little bit of a story time and explain how this book actually came to be, because if for those who don't know, the Mortal Instruments series was originally the Mortal Instruments trilogy, and it was only supposed to be 3 books, and City of Glass was supposed to be the end of that said series. And basically, Cassandra Clare had started writing a spin-off series because she really wanted to zone in on Simon and just tell a whole spin-off series, I'm guessing a trilogy, about nothing but Simon. It was going to strictly follow his character. But she ran into a bit of a bump in the road when she couldn't really write about, how can you write about Simon? How can you write about everybody else without having the rest of his friends, like Clary and Jason, Isabel, and all the rest of the Shadowhunters and Downworlder friends, and etc. So she spoke to her editor and blah blah blah. So that's kind of how that spin-off series idea morphed into a 4th book, which for me, this never should have been considered book 4. They could have changed the titles up a little bit. They could have told the same story that we have in these 3 books. It's just not attached to the Mortal Instruments. I really wish the Mortal Instruments is just City of Bones, City of Ashes, and City of Glass, because these books feel like a spin-off series. This feels like a spin-off book, because for the most part, the first, I would say, City of Fallen Angels and City of Lost Souls has a very primary of Simon voice to them. More Simon perspective in these than there is anyone else. And City of Heavenly Fire, Cassandra Clare just went away with focus on the Simon, and it just goes back to we get everybody's perspectives. Now, I have never had a problem with her writing, but the writing in this book felt very off to me, because I've always loved her writing in the first 3 books. And so when I first started reading this, I was excited, because I had watched Courtney's review from Courtney from Books with Court when she still had a channel here. I loved her reviews of the books, followed her reviews for all 6 books, and it was her love and excitement of this of Cassie's work that made me want to read Cassandra Clare's books in the first place. I followed her Courtney's reviews for all of Cassandra Clare's Mortal Instruments and Infernal Devices books, and she just worded them so well that made me want to read all of them and love them, and I'm so glad that I did. And if it wasn't for her channel, I probably wouldn't be a fan of her books today. But I can't wonder if maybe these books just don't Aries or to this world as they probably should. I don't know. I felt like she just did such a great job at tying everything up in City of Glass. And I'm not saying that these books don't have some form of merit in them in one way or another, whether it's character development, plot line, world building, prose, beautiful descriptions, and writing, because they do have somewhat all of that. And I actually, out of the 3 books, there's a lot of people who hate this book. I don't hate this book. I really love this book. This book is a 5-star book. It's the shortest book she has actually written in like one of her main, like not counting like novellas or anything. But it still felt like an off book to me. It felt like a spin-off. And I think, I don't know if, and the writing just felt very disjointed, and then at times I almost thought that maybe somebody else wrote it, because it just did not feel like her writing of the first 3. Most authors, their writing gets better as they go, and that one just felt very off. And then I had just finished reading City of Ashes when City of Lost Souls was published, and I loved the cover. The spine was dark compared to the very light cream color of the other ones, so it looked very off, very weird, but everybody was telling me that this was such an amazing book. And it felt very weird, just like the 4th book did. It felt very off. It's very weird for a series of 6 books to have 2 different villains. And I mean, I still feel like, as much as I enjoyed it, Sebastian Morgenstern was a good villain. He was, but at the same time, his reasonings for why he hates everybody and he wants everyone to burn, it's just not a good enough reason. Now, Valentine had a lot of reasons as to why. You know, he just felt like, you know, how the Shadowhunter world and the Shadow world works just wasn't. It's been a long time since I've read the first 3 books, so everything's not in my memory as to what his main reasons were. But I could respect him. I could understand him. I can't really get Sebastian, which is this character. Excuse me. I mean, he was interesting, and I liked him. But I don't know. I just felt like there was just so much that we were not getting. And so at the end of the day, I still very much love these 3 books. But at the same time, I keep wondering, were they necessary? And honestly, I suppose you could say they were, but at the same time, one of my biggest complaints about them is that they never should have been connected to the Mortal Instruments series. I really, really, really wish that they would have kept the idea of a spinoff, just told it in a separate series, like a spinoff, like it was supposed to be. It's kind of a very weird video. Just let me know if I'm the only one who thinks this, if you guys have similar thoughts. If you are wondering, I have not read the Bane Chronicles, I have not read Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, and I have not read all 3 books of the Dark Artifices. Mainly because every time I read a new Cassandra Clare Shadowhunter series, all the books were out. In a way, when I started Mortal Instruments, only 4 were out. But, yeah, so, I mean, for the most part, when I was reading both the Infernal Devices and Mortal Instruments, almost all
were out. So I want to be able to go into yet another series where it's not going to be like that. So let me know what you kind of think of this video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.